Let us try to define a test unit, which is the smallest definable test in Ezyreport. We click on maintenance and we click on test unit entry. After entering this, we come to the last defined test unit, in which case it is soluble substance A, as it comes predefined in Ezyreport. We click on update and add, and then in which case we get a blank screen for in which we can define the test units. Let's presume that you want to define a test unit called hemoglobin. We enter the test unit name. In this case, the test name is hemoglobin, and the name from printing is already prompted. We can also keep these two names different. This is required especially when we define units like color. As we know, color can be there in many places. We can have stool color, semen color, CSF color. So in which case we will have to define the test as urine color, but when it gets printed we want only color to get printed, so we can keep only color for the name for printing, but actually the test defined as urine color. So at the moment we are going to define the test hemoglobin. Then we can define a test, give a department to the test, so that the tests which are displayed in the result entry menu are segregated according to department. In case of hemoglobin, as we know, it will come in hematology department. It is not a character test, but it's a numeric test. So we click on numeric. As soon as we click on numeric, the different normal ranges appear. In this case, we enter the normal range for male first, and then we can enter for the lower limit and the high limit. We can enter. In case you want this range to be copied to everywhere, we can click here, and the same range will get copied. A easier way to do will be to enter the female range in the male column first, copy it, and then change the values for male. As we know, the newborn will contain a hemoglobin which is higher, in which case we can enter the hemoglobin is 14 and 19 here. Then the number of days that will be required for this test we can enter here, and this particular column we enter here is, do you want this test to come in the test menu column in patient entry? In which case, if we want it to come, we can keep it ticked here, in which case we will have to enter a short name which is less up to 20 characters. We enter the charges, say 40, and this test definition for hemoglobin is complete. We can click on update and add, and the test will get created. In this particular case, HB was already present, that is why it has said that it will not allow us to define the test again. So we click on OK, we come out of the screen. Let us now see how we can go to other predefined tests, like which are character based. For example, let's go to another numeric test like PCV. Before I go there, let us see how we can navigate in the test which already defined. There are basically several keys here. We can do a page down, in which case we can scroll through the different tests which already defined, or we can click on view test unit, in which case it will give us all the test units which are arranged according to the code. In case we want them to be enumerated alphabetically, we can click on name, in which case the test units will get arranged according to the name of the test. Let us go to a test called like PCV. To go to this particular test, we click on PCV first, and then we click on view test unit again, in which case we will come to PCV. Now what is this prefix and suffix? Many times we want subheadings in the report. For example, in this particular report which we had already printed, say CBC report, we'll just print it again and see. We want, before PCV there was a subheading in the report called RBC indices. So how do we give these subheadings in the report? So for example, neutrophils, we have a subheading WBC differential count. In this case, when we enter an underscore followed by whatever we want to enter, this particular thing will get printed before PCV. Similarly, say for neutrophils, we have entered underscore WBC differential count, and that is how it will look. It will get printed as WBC differential count with the underline before neutrophils. We would also like sometimes to enter the methods. Say for platelet count, we have entered a method, fully automated 5-part cell counter. We can go to neutrophils and see how we have entered the method. Please note the prefix and suffix can contain 200 characters each, and they do not allow us to do any editing of fonts. For editing of fonts, we can click on enter additional fields. Here we have entered this with this remark, there is method fully automated 5-part cell counter. As you can see, it is getting printed here. We can change the font size by selecting here and by clicking on 10, in which case it will get printed smaller. We can also make it bold, we can make it italic, in which case the font will change. We can save it by clicking on exit, in which case we come to this screen back, and we can do a page up and page down to save that particular remark in the italic form. This is the basic menu for test entry. Many times we do not want the normal values to get printed. For example, let's go to a test unit, say beta HCG, which has a very descriptive type of test units. We do not want the units to get printed, but we want to still give a normal range. So we can enter a normal range by entering this in remarks memo field. That is, all the things that we can enter here will get printed in the patient's report. How will the report look? We can click on preview unit or preview group to see how the report looks. In which case it will show a preview on the screen.